Hopefully you remember, we're talking about more than just math. We're talking important things, like how to bake cookies. So imagine that we needed to find half of 3/4 cups. Okay, half of 3/4 is 3/8. We just learned how to do that. Now the question comes up, okay, where is that on my measuring cup? You'll notice there are no measurements written with eighths in the bottom of the fraction. Let's figure out how we can find that on our cup. To do this, let's review our basics about fractions. We can start with a number line between 0 and 1. If we divide it into two pieces, we get 1/2 and 1, or 2 seconds. Now we can divide it into further, dividing each part again into half. That gives us 4 spaces, which is 1/4, 2/4, which you should notice is still equal to 1/2, 3/4, or 4/4, which is again still equal to 1. Remember, we need eighths, so let's divide it into 8 pieces. 1/8, 2/8, which is 1/4, 3/8, 4/8, which is 1/2, 5/8, 6/8, which is 3/4, 7/8, 8/8, which is 1. So in other words, what we need to do in order to find a value that isn't marked is figure out where it is in between two values that are marked. So it's easy for us to find 3/8 if it's written down. However, imagine that you were just looking at the number line that had everything marked only in fourths. If you know that 3/8 is in between 2/8 and 4/8, or 1/4 and 2/4, you can find that 3/8 would be in the middle of those two numbers. So I can mark 3/8. Now, often on the measuring cup, the lines will be there, they just won't be numbered. So let's look at a measuring cup and see if we could put numbers with all the lines. So remember, right now we only have a couple of the lines marked. I'm looking at the left-hand side where I see 1/2 and 1. Hopefully you recall that the mark on the bottom, half of 1/2, is 1/4. And between 1/2 and 1 cup was 3/4. Now over on the right-hand side, I can see even more lines. So here is my 1/4. Here is my 1/2. They have 1/3 marked, but you can tell there's an additional mark there. That's the eighth that is between 1/4 and 1/2. We can flip back to the previous chart if you don't recall. Okay, now I can tell that the eighth that is between 1/4 and 1/2 was 3/8. Let's move up to our next set. So again, we have our 1/2 and the 3/4. There's the line in between of it. In between 1/2 and 3/4, I can go down to my chart and find that that is 5/8. And then one more section between 3/4 and 1 cup. There's my next eighth. Between 3/4 and 1 cup is 7/8. And we can continue this up right above 1 with 1 and 1/8, 1 and 1/4, 1 and 3/8, and so on.